guys, and welcome back to Eden. So, let's just jump right back in. She inclined her head and soft hair swayed. Oh, how did you go from a mere strange child to the point where you were called a genius? One step at a time, bro. You changed one step at a time? No. She shook her head a second time and smiled. It would be boring if I told you the whole story in one sitting. Stories are interesting, and there's more to come. Am I wrong? Well, you aren't wrong, but that is a little mean. Just like, Scheherazade? I don't know what that word is. I'd never heard that name before. 1001 Nights. What's that? Once upon a time, there was a king who caught his wife being unfaithful and distrusted women ever since. That king took a new wife each day and killed each wife after a night had passed. That guy is seriously sick. One woman, whatever Scheherazade, married him to put a stop to his atrocities. When night fell, she would tell the king tales from throughout the ages. So basically she would tell him the story, and say the rest would come tomorrow. Yes, and he couldn't kill Scheherazade since he wanted to hear how they ended. It is said her stories continue 1001 nights. No matter how interesting the stories, I'm amazed she can keep going for 1,000 nights. If I were to tell you everything about myself, 1,000 nights wouldn't be long enough. Sion smiled once more, stood up and walked to the shore. I stood up as well and made sure to keep close, so that I could support her if she should ever stumble. Yeah, we have all the time in the world. Yeah. Sion nodded and kicked at a pebble by her feet. But while it's all fine and good to remember the past, we have to think about the future as well. The future? To be specific, Ro, your future. Why are you worried about me? You can't afford to keep taking care of me forever, can you? You have your own life. Where you stand with the military is the only problem. If you're lucky, you'll be treated as KIA, but if not, you'll have a court-martial for desertion waiting. My future has quite the magnificent forecast. Whatever the case, it was certain I would be arrested if I waltzed out in public. The military likely wouldn't execute me immediately, but would use any means necessary to extract Sion's whereabouts from me. Dirty tactics I had once used on my enemies. But knowing you might make it through reasonably unscathed. You, who safely escaped all this way while escorting a hindrance like me. I wish you wouldn't overestimate me like that. Ships take off to space practically every day. Wouldn't slipping into one of them be easy work for you? I do think I could pull that off, but I have no intention of leaving here. I said clearly, as if making a proclamation. I could tell that she didn't want to do anything that would tie me down. She may have sensed that I had lost sight of my goal in life, but I had come here on my own free will. That was why I had no intention of leaving this place, of leaving her side, not before I could see another path for myself. Bro, do you plan to stay here until I die? She spoke of her own death like it was no concern. She had always treated it as such, but lately acted like it had nothing to do with her in particular. She didn't fear death. It was downright scary how indifferent she was to it. Even if you wait for my death, you'll gain nothing from it. It's not like I'm here because I want anything in return. You know that, don't you? I do know that. That's why I'm saying it. It was unusual for Sion, but she sounded a bit mad when she spoke. I want you to be free to do what you want as well. I wish for. Yeah, I know. I nodded and managed to form a smile. Though I was sure a forced smile would not move her heart, I figured I had no choice but to smile. A mild gust kicked up, and we decided to go back home. This region was warm year-round, but cold winds did blow on occasion. And oh my god! Wait, where is this thing? Hide. There we go. Boop. These winds had surely come from some distant cold world. Did you know, Ro? Sion had been silently trotting along, then suddenly opened her mouth. What? This country had 4 seasons long. I vaguely remember hearing that before. I seem to recall one of my parents saying something like that once upon a time. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. Flower viewing in spring, fireworks in summer, leaves changing color in autumn, and snow in winter. Each season had something pretty to offer. I heard it long ago from my creator, Dr. Shinyoji, that the country changed colors each season, and that it was a very beautiful country. I've met people from all sorts of countries. Everyone always said their own country was the most beautiful. What about you, Ro? I'm not sure. I looked out over the mountains, dripping with greenery and groves of trees rustling in the wind. This place would never change. Everything was just as it was when I was a child. I guess I don't hate it. If I did, I wouldn't have come here. You're not being honest with yourself. Sion giggled. It's a little late to say that now. Yeah, that's true. But I wanted to see it, even if only once. The changing seasons, I really would have liked to see them. There was probably a region somewhere which still experienced all 4 seasons. But even if there was, taking her there wouldn't be without its own perils. Oh, don't take that too seriously. I like this place, so I'm just fine here. This place is nice. That's a big help. Beginning to semi-seriously worry about it was apparently foolish. Actually, I guess taking that seriously made me the fool. I won't ask for the impossible. I might just want to see it, experience it, because it's something that has vanished from the face of the earth. All people possess a longing for that which has been lost. At this point, the seasons in the country itself have disappeared. All that's left is a predictable climate and boundless chaos. Ever since the planet started to run towards the end, everything has changed. She whispered sadly, shook her long hair, and started walking a little faster than before. Everything changed, and the end draws near. I wonder why this planet turned out this way. Wouldn't you know that best? We had the Earth evacuation project because the end of the world was upon us, and she was once in charge of it. I don't know. Sion shook her head. You don't know? Nobody can stop the end. Do you know why it can't be stopped? The answer is simple. She presented the question and answered all on her own. Because ultimately, nobody knew why it would end. We ignore problems we don't understand and tackle those that we do. It was easier to search for the next planet than to save the one we currently live on. That's just how it is. If we will survive that way, then that choice isn't wrong. I can't say for sure that it's the correct choice either. You may be a genius, but you aren't all-knowing. There's no sense in seeking an absolute truth, is there? What? She stopped and stared at me with those big eyes of hers. It was the sort of face one might make when looking at something in awe. No, never mind. It's just, for some reason, I thought what I did was the right choice. I thought you couldn't say that for sure. I wonder why I suddenly thought that. Don't worry about it. That said, Sion started to walk once more. Her stride seemed somehow lighter now. I heard a bang and lifted my face from the book I was reading. We had finished dinner and taken baths, and were now spending a leisurely and quiet night together. Sion, who should have been sitting across from me reading a book like I was, had her face planted into the table again. I didn't even have to guess what had happened. As usual, she had fallen asleep, like her batteries had just died. How could she stay asleep after smacking her head so hard? Honestly. I set down my book, stood from my seat, and made my way over to Sion. Once she fell asleep, she wouldn't wake until morning. All attempts to wake her were futile. I took the book still gripped in her hands, pulled out her chair, and gathered Sion into my arms. No, it's so cute. Oh dear God. I lifted her almost weightless body with ease. She's so light. I whispered curtly and looked down at Sion's face. This wasn't the first time I had carried her. It was just a little, ever so little at a time. Sion seemed to be losing weight. Maybe it would be best for me to start measuring her weight during her daily health checks. We didn't have a scale, but I could probably find one if I scrounged through the vacant homes in the area. If she were an ordinary girl, she would probably hate telling a man her weight. But this was Sion we were talking about. She likely wouldn't object. She lacked those sensibilities. She let out a tiny sigh. Her sweet voice, soft hair, slender body. She was the image of a girl from head to toe, and yet the fact that she was not an ordinary girl was a bit depressing. Sion slept with such an angelic face. Her face was a little red, likely because she hit it earlier. It wasn't swelling all that much, but I'd better put some ice on it later just to be sure, since that was the most I could do for her. Let me cook, Sion suggested after waking up unusually early. Cook? You're planning to make breakfast? You don't make lunch in the morning. True enough. But of course, that wasn't the issue at hand. I appreciate the thought, but will you be alright? I should be fine as long as you stay beside me and watch. That goes without saying, but some things were just outside of one's scope of ability. This house was made of wood, so I couldn't dismiss the possibility that it could go up in flames at the slightest spark. It might be wise to prepare a fire extinguisher just in case. Sion looked around restlessly without paying my speculation any mind. Where should we start? Let's see. Which hand should I hold the knife in? Why don't we start with the task that doesn't require anything sharp? It would probably be dangerous to let her use cutlery, considering I had nothing prepared to stop bleeding. Got it. Sion grumbled in disappointment and hung her head. It was a bit pathetic of me to chip away at the enthusiasm she had finally mustered. Want to start making some fried eggs? Sure. She lifted her head and answered with surprising speed. Fried eggs, huh? I wouldn't really consider that cooking, but it was probably just about right for a beginner. Okay, first you heat the frying pan. The frying pan doesn't go in the oven, though. No, use the stovetop. Oh well, I guess no matter how intelligent, you can't do something you don't know how to do. She did well to live to this day without knowing that. I guess it was to be expected, or maybe just a blatantly obvious outcome. The fried eggs she made were atrocious. A small number of our precious eggs were put to waste before she even made something resembling a fried egg. Your teaching methods weren't so great either. No, your clumsiness exceeded my expectations. I kept quiet and watched because she said not to meddle too much, to promise to keep my hands off. She failed when she tried to show off and crack an egg with one hand. She failed when she burned one down to cinders. Finally, she failed when she dropped an egg somewhere, or she somehow cooked properly, onto the floor while transferring it from the pan to the plate. We were finally seated at the breakfast table where the last remaining egg somehow managed to not be reduced to charcoal. I'll take the part of the white that's burned at the edges. Sion was lamenting over how hopeless she was. I ignored her sulking and cut the egg in two with my knife. Row! It's fine, just eat. You still have to get to the fields. Yeah. Sion smiled ever so slightly and picked up the fork and knife. In addition to Sion's egg, our breakfast menu consisted of cherry tomatoes, biscuits with strawberry jam, and prepackaged stew. Naturally, I started my meal with the fried egg. Actually, I just caved into the eyes fixated on me from across the table. It was a little burned, but regular enough for a fried egg. How is it? Yeah, it's good. I hate flattery. What a coincidence, so do I. She said nothing and scowled at me, but eventually let out a sigh. Cooking is... She stuck her fork into her egg and opened her mouth. Cooking is hard, but I've always thought of it as something that would appear whenever I sat at the table, but I guess this is what I get. Everyone plays their own part in life. You had more important things to do than cook. But now my role has changed. Just sitting at a table is something even a doll could do. I want to have a purpose now that I'm here. There's no rush. At the very least, I can take care of preparing our meals. I tossed my half-fruit yolk into my mouth. And for that matter, there's no good reason why you can't be here either. Ro! What? Sion tilted her head and looked at me skeptically. You're trying to pamper me. Am I? That wasn't my intention. Some people just weren't cut out for certain things. Sion stuck a bit of egg that was a bit too large in her mouth and let out a quiet yelp. What's wrong? She chewed the egg many times, gulped it down, and looked astonished. Then, in a rare act on her part, smiled sweetly. Delicious! Hey, Sion! Yes? Sion stopped pulling clumps of weeds and looked up. The sunlight was so warm today that there were beads of sweat forming on her forehead. Aren't you bored being here? Yes, I am. She admitted it awfully easy. But I didn't hate doing research, facing a monitor, staring down data, searching for the correct answer, with only one purpose in mind, creating an engine which could go the distance. That was all I had, but the way it was so clear-cut and simple was amusing and in and of itself. I figured the process of searching for an answer was extremely complex, but I bet even that was amusing for her. This place contains no computers nor arithmetic. I bet there's nothing you'd consider interesting. None. She nodded firmly. But something changes here every day. Changes? That way you parrot back, or what I say, you sound like an idiot. I think it'd be best if you stopped. It's a shame, since you're such an intelligent person, too. I thought your judgment and concentration when we journeyed here were out of this world, but it's like your processing speed has dropped since coming here. You don't have to analyze me like that. Sometimes I couldn't quite understand what she was saying. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys, so if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!